There, fellow nerds and geeks. Aaron Nabus here, and welcome to the Hall H Show podcast. We are at San Diego Comic-Con 2018, and I'm joined by Mr. Tristan Whitehouse. He's part of the Accidental Aliens. He just wrapped up a panel that he did here at San Diego Comic-Con with the aliens, and it was basically about the benefits of having a drawing group. Correct?
Yeah, it was a great panel. This is a lifelong dream come true for me. To do this panel. Basically, it was all about us getting together and talking about how having a diverse group of people come together and all work on our own individual projects, but being able to bounce ideas off each other and get feedback on things, everything from just writing and art and story ideas and just everything. Being able to lift each other up and put out really cool indie books.
Cool, and I did manage to record a good portion of it, and I'll tack that on at the end of this interview.
Awesome.
And how many of the aliens were on there on the panel with you?
Everybody was up there. We had, let's see, so from last year's anthology, we had Eric came back. This year we have Dylan, who actually lives up in, I think, San Francisco. Yeah. And then we had Scott, Travis, Andy, Emily, Rodney. I think I'm missing somebody again.
Yeah, Draw.
Let's see, Draw. Eric. Dylan. Wait, no, I said Dylan.
Eric. Yeah.
We're growing so fast I can't keep track of us all.
Where are you finding all these aliens at, man?
I honestly, a lot of it is San Diego Comic Fest.
That's right.
I met Rodney actually at a Starbucks, and he invited me to, table next to him at San Diego Comic Fest in 2017.
Okay. And
that was when Scott and some of the other aliens came by and were like, "Oh, hey, you found another alien," and they abducted me shortly thereafter.
Nice. And that's probably one way that through collaboration you sort of check and balance each other and make sure that I think there was a question asked on the panel about how do you prevent yourself from copying basically something that's already been out there.
Oh yeah, it's cool. So we have a chat, just like a Facebook chat, and when we're coming up with ideas, we'll throw out sketches or just story ideas or whatever. And if something we come up with, somebody else has already seen something, and they go, "Oh hey, I just read this comic, and that's really similar to this thing that's coming out." We can kind of catch each other before we do something that's maybe gonna just be a copy of something else by accident even, to try to keep those ideas fresh and even if there's something that we throw out a cool idea and they're like, but what would be really cool is what if you did this, and we thought, oh man, I would have never thought of that. Just keeping those ideas flowing. And
I think somebody asked a question relating to that diversity, and that's one thing that I like about your group is that you have a pretty diverse set of creators on the Accidental Aliens.
We do, yeah. We've got men, women, folks of all racial backgrounds. It's really good to have, I think, a group where you have these diversities, because you can in an open and honest environment get feedback on things and say, hey, am I doing this the right way, and not treading on anyone's toes. And that really, I think, is a strength of our particular group. And Rodney, in fact, if I can plug his Kickstarter, he's working on Sword Saga right now, and it is a really kick-ass book. I've backed it. He was in the 2017 anthology with 6 pages, preview pages. And check him out on Kickstarter. Just search for Sword Saga. It's a young black warrior named Tal who goes on a magical adventure with a sword that can change shapes. It's going to be really cool. So yeah, definitely do check his stuff out. I can't wait to check it out myself. And I guess this might be a good segue to talk about your book, because you had a few preview pages on this year's anthology. I did, yeah. I was in the 2018 anthology with preview pages for my original story, The Adventures of Terrik Zion. It is my love letter to sci-fi. I started writing this story sometime in high school, and I did a few very short comics that never got published. Okay. Because I fell into that trap of, well, I'll do it when I'm good enough, and so that they're on boards just sitting on the shelf at home. When I met the aliens, they invited me in and said, hey, we want to make this anthology thing an annual deal. We'd love to have you do a story. The only thing is you just have to have a creator-owned comic. And I said, well, I've got just the thing. So I went ahead and I hammered that out. Did the anthology. We did the Kickstarter. Got funded. We've got books printed. They're ready for sale.
Yeah, I have my copy. It came in.
Nice. So then I decided to go ahead and finally bring the whole story to print. So 32 pages are now penciled and in the inking stage right now. I hope to have those done by the end of this year, and I will run my own Kickstarter for that later on.
Cool. And on the panel, like Scott was joking around that you sort of have a pretty prodigious production rate. You managed to bust out 3 pages at a convention, like on a day, basically.
I did. It was a San Diego Comic Fest this year, 2018. I was able to do 3 pages a day. So I got 6 pages done that weekend, and then we had San Diego Rocket Con the next weekend, and I don't think it was 3 more pages. I think I got 2 more pages done that day. So the pencils came together really quickly for me. I pretty much work exclusively on the weekends, but working at a Comic-Con, you've got that energy, and that you're surrounded by art, and everybody's talking about comics. So I just fed off of that, and I honestly couldn't even believe I got through 3 pages. But it was a great experience.
I guess once you're on a roll, you just got to keep that momentum going.
It just kept coming out. I finished 1 page, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. I've got that energy. I'm just gonna get another page out. I'll probably just start it, and then I finished that one and went, oh, okay, well, I guess I'll work on a 3rd page then.
Now, like myself, you're a graphic designer, and can you sort of, talk about how that sort of couples your already considerable, artistic skill, and in terms when it comes to sequential art?
Yeah, so I work at a local weekly magazine, and we go to press every week. And so just learning to hit that deadline, that was a really big thing, and those time management skills is really huge. It really isn't technically an art skill, quote unquote, but yeah, being able to hit a deadline is really, really important. Working in advertising and doing ads, having a small panel to basically tell a story and get across a message as quickly and succinctly as possible has allowed me to translate that into my comic panels and say, okay, it's the same deal. I've got 1 frame, I got to tell a story, and I can't have any fluff. It's been a really good experience to have that under my belt. Now,
in terms of like your panel layouts, can you sort of describe how you put those together? Because it seems like you have some unique ways of sort of laying out your panels.
I do. I always thumbnail everything out first, and in particular, I like square panels and rectangular panels. Yeah. And I like to save really angled, kind of Dutch angle panels for anything where there's crazy action or a surprise or something like that. A couple years ago, I want to say it was 2 or 3 years ago, I went to a panel with Brian Haberlin, and he was talking about doing graphic novels and this craze with the panels being completely crazy. And he was saying, I don't find that I need to do that. Rectangular panels work just as well. And that kind of stuck in my mind at the time. And I thought, well, let me try that out, and I'll get into crazy panels later. Let me stick with rectangular first. That's easy. And but as I did it, I really liked the grid-like layout. So I've just kind of stuck with it.
Yeah, I noticed a lot of pretty interesting angles, and you kind of vary some of the rectangles as well.
Oh yeah. Anytime I've got like an explosion or anything crazy going on, I really like to push the perspective and get the panel itself going wild. Break some of the panel borders, have arms and legs popping out of the panel and stuff like that. It's I don't really know what I'm doing. I just do what I think looks cool.
Well, you kind of just usually the way it works is you kind of just go for it and you figure things out as you go, right?
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, it's all a learning experience, and I'm just having so much fun doing it.
That's important. That's an important aspect of it. It's just having fun.
Even if I'm doing something technically wrong, I mean, I'll learn as I go, and it's a learning experience.
So you have Terrik Zion going on. Are there any other projects that you're working on that you can tell our audience about?
So I also work on a webcomic. It's a fan comic with my wife. It is called The Tale of Tashi and Nima. You can find it at tashiandnima.com. It's an Avatar fan comic. It follows a what-if story about two young airbenders who survived the attack of the Northern Air Temple. They're young enough that they don't yet have their tattoos, and that allows them to escape into the Northern Earth Kingdom territories.
Oh, nice.
And disguise themselves as Earth Kingdom citizens while the Fire Nation keeps pushing forward and colonizing the areas, and they have to keep being on the run the whole time.
No. So if you weren't an avatar where you could have control over all the elements, which element would you want?
Oh man, honestly, I kind of tend towards fire because it's cool. I don't really have any other good reason besides that. I just think it's cool.
So with the aliens, you guys seem pretty close. I mean, you hang out, I'm sure, quite often. Can you sort of maybe talk about how you are as a group and how it is on a typical day during one of your drawing sessions?
Oh yeah, so we try to get together about once a week, usually Sunday because that's when most of us have off. It's it's a little tricky with everybody's work schedule, but we'll usually get together and we'll plan to have maybe a 3-hour day, and then it'll turn into a 5-hour day because we just once you get into that groove and you're working, everybody's talking and drawing comics. It's a great experience. Maybe have a beer, get a pizza.
Drunk on comics.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I've only been a member for about a year, but I mean they're super welcoming and warm people, and I couldn't have wished for a better group to be drawing with.
Yeah, I've shared many a beer with Travis and Scott and Emily and Rodney.
Yeah, they're good peeps.
Yeah, for sure. What is when you were a kid, did you think that you'd be doing this right now? I mean, has this always been like a dream of yours?
I always wanted to. I mean, I'd always wanted to be an illustrator. I knew that since I was just, maybe 5 or 6 years old.
Do you remember like the quintessential comic book or something out there that may have sparked your interest?
Ninja Turtles.
Okay.
I used to watch the cartoon, and I got my parents to buy me the original, the original Ninja Turtles comics, and they had no idea that they were not at all like the cartoon.
Exactly.
And but by the time I'd read them, it was too late. But yeah, those were fundamental in getting my interest into comics. In high school, I wanted to be in animation, and I took 4 years of animation. I was lucky enough to have a school that offered that as an elective.
Oh, nice.
So that really plays into my artistic background and my character design. But after that, I realized that, no, I'd rather do my own thing, and comics is less work than animation. A lot less panels to draw. And I could do it on my own.
You say obviously you're a big fan of science fiction. Can you sort of like plot the course between Ninja Turtles and like your love for sci-fi?
Oh man, so Ninja Turtles already had some aliens and portals and
That's
Dimension
true.
X and stuff like that. So that led me into Star Trek. My dad thought like, oh well, hey, he likes this stuff. This has lasers and stuff. Why not show him Star Trek? And so the Next Generation and the original series. I was watching Next Generation as it came out every Saturday.
Do you have a preference between the original series and Next Generation?
I don't know. I grew up watching them both at the same time, so I kind of thought that they were coming out at the same time.
Oh wow.
I think I have to go with Next Generation just because I had a longer run. And after they quit showing the reruns of the original series, the Next Generation was still coming out.
Did you ever watch the that fan-made series Star Trek Continues?
I have not. I've seen the trailer on YouTube.
They're really well done.
I really do need to check that out.
Yeah,
I
recommend
saw. What was the other one? Was it Continues? Oh, I can't remember the name of it now, but. I'm blanking on his name. Pavel Chekhov. He played in this one that I'm thinking of.
I can't remember if he was in it or not.
Maybe it was something else. I don't know. Now my mind's blanking.
What were you like interested in anything else when you were a kid?
Oh man, yeah, Ninja Turtles, Star Trek, Star Wars later on, video games. I mean, Nintendo 64.
Oh yeah, Mario Kart is still one of my favorite games.
Oh yes, Mario Kart, Star Fox. What else? Legend of Zelda. Anything that was action, adventure, sci-fi. Anything that wasn't the real world, and anything geeky.
So if you were like thrust into some sort of strange and bizarre world, and based on your fandoms, which world would you want to go into?
Oh man, if I could be a Jedi, I would go in Star Wars. If I couldn't be a Jedi, I would be a smuggler in Firefly.
Nice. Now, would you have the same ship? Would you have your own ship, or?
Oh, I'd have to have my own ship.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the Serenity and everything, but I gotta have my own ship.
Now, do you have a name picked out?
I have a few different names for that I'm using in Terrik Zion.
Okay. We'll have to check out the book then. I noticed that you in the panel you said that you sort of. Obviously, it's sort of like a story that you were working on before, so you sort of revamped certain aspects of it, such as the ship designs and maybe other characters as well. You want to go into that a little bit?
Yeah. So I've got I have like so many sketchbooks full of character designs and stuff. I actually had to number them recently because I was having a hard time keeping track of everything. And I will go back all the way to high school and reference designs that I came up with.
Yeah.
Even back then, and I'll update them, to fit my modern look and my style and everything. But yeah, I've got so much stuff that I can't even use because I don't have the space.
So
for it.
How long ago did you create Terrik Zion?
Let's see. Terrik Zion started in '99. Yeah, that was the first. He was a role-playing character originally.
Oh wow, interesting.
Me and a group of friends at lunch, we were running a freestyle sci-fi role-playing game, and he started out as my character. And after we finished it, I was like, I really like this character. I should do something with it. Hey, why don't I make a crew for him? I'll make comics. Nice.
It's weird how things sort of work out sometimes. It's like one idea will just lead to another, and then it becomes even better than it was before.
Yeah, it was super spur of the moment. They were like, "Hey, do you guys want to do this?" Sure, okay. And all these years later, still with me.
Do you have any advice for somebody out there who's aspiring to get to where you're at as a comic book creator?
Don't give up. Just keep pushing it. You're gonna face all sorts of adversity. People are gonna tell you you're not good enough, or that you can't, or that there's no money in it. Do it because you love it. Don't give up. Keep pushing. You'll get there. And then you'll get a panel at San Diego Comic-Con.
It was a pretty cool panel. I think those are really good questions that were asked by the audience.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I thought so too. It was really, really good. I could not have asked for more than that.
You got your name tag, right?
I did. Yeah, I got it. I'm gonna bring it home and frame it and put it in my office.
That's so awesome.
And just hang it where I can see it from my computer, and just look at that every now and then and think, wow, that happened.
Sure. You want to maybe show some of your book?
Yeah, sure. Let's see here.
I'll hold the microphone.
Oh, okay. Put this down. So here is these are my pages in the 2018 anthology. Let's see, that's the cover there in page 1. Am I flipping the right way? Yeah, there we go. Page 2 and 3. And so these pages are actually pages 7 through 13 in my book 1. They just happen to be the best, I think, intro pages for a one-shot like the anthology. There's some of my sketches, a couple ships up here, and just my thought process for some of the aliens and whatnot. Excuse me. But yeah, this was pretty much what I did in 2017. just working on this endlessly every weekend that I got, end of 2018, I hope to have the full book inked and colored.
Cool. I guess we'll go into like a quick thunder round, because what would a Hall Late show be without a thunder round, which is our sort of
nice.
Off the beaten path set of questions.
Cool.
So we'll start off kind of easy. What song did you sing this morning in the shower?
Oh man, I don't think I was even awake enough to use words this morning. It was probably something sci-fi related, if anything.
Well, I guess I'll rephrase the question. If you had the last song at a karaoke joint and you're going to close the place down, what song would you sing?
Oh man, I would probably just like whistle the Next Generation theme song because I could do that.
If I gave you $1 million, what would you do with it?
Oh my God, I would retire and do comics. Working a day job is just so that I can spend the rest of my time doing comics. I would absolutely. Probably buy my wife a nice car and then do comics.
How about if I gave you $100?
$100? Yeah. Oh man, I would probably buy a lot of comics.
Like, what kind of comics are you reading right now?
Let's see. So I am reading, Saga, of course, and for the published comics. Then there's also Valkyrie, which is a EVE Online comic. It's really cool.
Okay.
Again, sci-fi. Rat Queens. Let's see what else. And then, of course, the Accidental Aliens, all their original books, Sword Saga. Web comics, I'm reading Cassiopeia Quinn and Miss Melee, both awesome comics. Definitely check those out. Good friends of mine do those.
Nice. Speaking of like web comics, have you ever been on webtoons.com?
Like featured or?
No, I'm just like to check it out.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I think back in the day it used to be full of just like South Korean comics, online comics, but now it seems like they're starting to showcase a lot of creators that are outside of South Korea.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that out
and
again.
They're all free to sort of check out as well.
Nice. Yeah, no, I must admit I haven't been recently, but I'll have to check that out.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, if a soundtrack was made, pretty much like a movie soundtrack was made about your life, what kind of music would be on that soundtrack?
Oh man, probably orchestral. I really like the Symphony of the Planets.
Interesting.
I mean, it's that or the soundtrack for a game called Homeworld. Also kind of synth techno orchestral, really interesting stuff.
I have to check that out. I'm always looking for something to listen to while I'm working, designing, because I don't like listening to a lot of music that has like lyrics or words spoken.
Yeah, once I start listening to music with lyrics and I start paying attention to that.
Yeah, exactly.
Orchestral stuff is nice because you can play it and your mind doesn't get sidetracked.
You'll have to shoot me over like a list of things to check out.
Oh yeah, sure thing.
If you could like have dinner with anybody dead or alive, or even fictional, who would it be and where would you go?
I'd probably have dinner with Darth Vader because he'd be like, "We would be honored for you to join us," and I'd be like, "Well, I guess I can't say no to that."
And where would you take him to eat?
Somewhere that serves liquid food that he can drink through his suit.
I guess my final question would be, if you were president of the United States, what kind of artwork would you hang up in the Oval Office?
Oh man, I'd put up the Aliens artwork, honestly. Although, I got to be honest, I would put up the Ralph McQuarrie stuff. I'm blanking on names now. Doug Chiang from all the old Star Wars stuff, or the prequels. Who else? Oh man, Doug Drexler? No, he was a production manager. What am I talking about? Who was the guy that did all the graphic design on Star Trek? Mike Okuda. I'd put his stuff up. John Eves, I think. Is that the right name? Yeah. More production stuff on Star Trek. The Alien fan art, Alien production art. I'm blanking on these names. A lot of production art from movies. Honestly, that's one of the things I really gravitate towards. I can't draw like that. Maybe that's why. But yeah, really, really cool production paintings.
Right. I guess we'll go back to Terrik Zion. If you were to like say, you know how people have elevator pitches. If you were to sort of encapsulate your tagline for the book, what would it be? It
would be this is my love letter to sci-fi. Anything that I enjoyed growing up, Star Trek, Star Wars, Firefly later on. StarCraft, pretty much anything with "star" in the title. Growing up, that was the thing I always gravitated towards for whatever reason. This is me trying to give back to that community, and tell a story that's of my own in a universe that's kind of an amalgam of all the different sci-fi worlds.
Cool. And basically, what's like the beginning of Terrik Zion? What's like the story that you have in the anthology, and what does it lead to in the first issue?
So it's Terrik Zion. He owns a little ship, a little courier ship, and he runs supplies from one planet to another. Just a day job for him. He wants to go on adventures, but he can't. He's got debts, that sort of thing. Trying to tie that into real life a little bit. And he is suddenly attacked by an alien or ship. He's not even really sure which. That doesn't show up on the sensors. And it completely blasts his ship. They have to abandon ship, jettison down to the planet, and
I'm quite frankly surprised that they survived that blast.
Oh yeah, that was actually really fun to draw. So they get down to the planet, discover there's more of the same aliens down there. Now they really don't know what they're gonna do, and so the pages leave off on a cliffhanger. How are they gonna get out of this one? Very Star Trek: The Next Generation. Cue the horns and the sound effects and fade to black. But that's all answered in book one, and it's got probably 10 chapters, overarching story that are figured out. And so it'll basically be him getting dragged into this war with his crew and trying to figure out where he really fits in the galaxy, where he just thought he was working a day job.
I'm curious to find out how they actually make it out off the planet and how they sort of survive this next phase of the story.
Yeah, I hope everybody will read it and enjoy it. I had a lot of fun drawing it. This will be my first full book that'll go to print. So I really hope everyone enjoys it as much as I did.
Now, like, how far in advance have you planned it?
The chapter 1 story was already written, and of course now penciled. I have most of chapter 2 written, and then I have the overall story arc written out. Not scripted yet, but the themes and the short stories are kind of figured out.
For the next anthology, I mean, obviously, Terrik Zion is going to be its own book now. I mean, will you have a new story for the anthology for next time?
It's it's going to be called Apex, and it is a very far prequel to Terrik Zion, and it'll follow his great grandparents who are still living on Earth and are dealing with an alien invasion of their own, which is actually going to be the first contact that humanity has with an unknown alien species.
Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to checking that out. I guess we'll start closing out the show. Is there anything that we missed that you'd like our audience to know about?
Oh man, I don't even know. I'm so wiped from the day at Comic-Con. Thanks for having me on. Sure. I really appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. And we'll keep track of all the comic books that you have in the pipeline. And
awesome.
If our audience wants to keep track of you too, where can they find you?
They can find me at artnightstudios.com, Night with a K. That has its own backstory, but that's my main website. That'll have all my social media on there. At Tristan Art SD is my Twitter, and at Art Night Studios for Instagram. Check it out.
And once again, thanks for being on the show, and we hope to have you on again soon.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Peace. Cheers. Talk to you later.
See ya.